Hello, my name is Miranda, and my debate topic is on hazing and its negative effect on sports. Confusion about hazing often occurs because people don't distinguish between hazing and related processes, such as rites of passage, initiations, and bullying. The official definition of hazing is a secret, private, interpersonal process that reaffirms a hierarchical status difference between incoming and existing group members. Hazing usually coincides with bullying, which means both of those together shows that hazing is negative and has repercussions. Bullying is one or more aggressive acts that are meant to intimidate, exploit, or harm another person. Rites of passage and initiations are more so proving that hazing is a positive thing. For instance, like team building and traditions, etc. So rites of passage is an institutionalized cultural ritual that marks a transition from status to another. An initiation is an expected, public, and formal ceremony that marks entry into a group or organization. Our debate topic is hazing in sports and whether they're good or whether they're bad. So our argument between Callie and I was whether or not hazing in athletics has a negative effect on team sports. My position was that hazing results in negative repercussions for sports teams. So, like I just mentioned, hazing equals bad. I came up with 3 different types of concepts that explains why hazing is negative and has negative repercussions in athletics or sports. My first concept consists of the types of hazing at different sport levels. So at the youth sport level, the collegiate sport level, and the professional sport level. My second topic is the short-term effects and the long-term effects of hazing in sport. And my third concept that I'll be covering are the consequences of hazing. So not just the consequences for athletes, but for coaches and just the sport organization as a whole. For my first concept, the different types of hazing at the different sport levels. So, believe it or not, there is hazing that occurs in the youth sports, especially in today's society. So nothing crazy what you think you see on TV or hear in the news or see in magazines, but different types of hazing at the youth level would be teasing, embarrassment, pushing, etc. So things like that. So imagine a coach yelling from the sidelines saying embarrassing names to a player, or parents yelling from the sidelines to other opponents that their child is playing against, or even just 2 players on the same team not getting along, pushing each other, calling each other names. So, like I said, very minimal, nothing too serious, but hazing does occur at the youth sport level. One of the biggest places where you will see hazing is at the collegiate level. So some examples or different types are overconsumption of alcohol, wearing humiliating outfits, as you can see to the right. I think those might actually be professional players, but you get the concept. They're wearing Speedos, they're wearing sunglasses, funny hats. Other types of hazing at the collegiate level would be sleep deprivation. I know I've heard stories of some athletes keeping their rookies down in a basement and making them stay awake for X amount of hours. And then, of course, the worst that it could lead to would be sexual assault, which is also very common on college campuses. When you get down to get up to the professional level, the types of hazing tend to be more so kind of like youth sports, a little bit more minimal, a little bit more playful and not as serious, but some examples would be picking up the dinner tab when the team goes out to dinner, or making the rookies or the new guys on the team carry the team equipment or carry a teammate's luggage when they're traveling and they're on the road. Based on the athlete, the hazing activity, and the environment, some psychological experiences may last for a short period of time, whereas others may be longer lasting. So, this concept just kind of talks about the effects of hazing, both short-term and long-term. So to begin with, for short-term, I mentioned hospitalization. So with that, that's just saying either you're a victim, most likely you're a victim of hazing, and you're being hospitalized for, the overconsumption of alcohol or any other type of assault that might have happened during the hazing experience. Another short-term effect could be legal issues, more so for the suspect versus the victim. So as soon or if the hazing accident or incident is even reported, then the suspect could be charged with fines. They could be facing jail time. It all depends. And then another immediate short-term effect could be suspension or expulsion from a team or organization. So as soon as it gets out to the administrators of an organization or even a coach, it is completely up to them whether they choose to suspend or completely remove someone from the team for their acts of hazing. Some long-term effects for hazing could be mental health issues, and this is one of the biggest ones. So an athlete who went through a hazing process could suffer from anxiety or depression, or depending how bad the hazing experience was, post-traumatic stress disorder. Another one could be relationships with family and friends could be affected. They might not have had anything to do with the hazing experience, or maybe friends did have something to do, and you just feel the need to push them away and not want to talk about it, or you just want to be alone. The worst thing that it could lead to is suicidal thoughts, which has happened also before from hazing, not just at the collegiate level, but any sport level. And then the very last thing for the long-term effects could be your schoolwork and social life. So maybe you don't have the motivation to turn in homework or to even show up to school or your job. Your social life, you might not want to go out. You're sleep deprived. You just want to be alone and not talk. And lastly, for my third concept are the consequences of hazing. So like I mentioned before, depending on the severity of activity or the incident, the suspect could be facing jail time or fines. And when I say suspects, I don't just mean one person, it could be multiple. So for instance, real quick to the right, you can see a picture or a little clip of a news clipping of 4 University of Vermont hockey players were suspended in hazing probe. So that's not just one single person, it was a group of people that all participated in the hazing incident and were caught. So with that leads to the point is that they were suspended. So another consequence could be that you were suspended from a team or organization, you're completely removed. It's completely up to the coach and the organization or even the law of what they want to do. Another big consequence could be exploitation in the media. So it could be of the individual who caused the hazing crime. It could be of the school or university who was involved with the hazing incident. Revoked privileges. Another consequence could be loss of reputation in the community. So you could be 13-0 football team, and everyone boasts and looks up to you, but as soon as you create a crime or you have been reported for a hazing incident, you could lose your reputation, and it doesn't matter, how skilled you are or how popular your team is. It could be completely lost for something as small as a hazing incident. And then your destruction of program mission and values. So kind of similar to the reputation is, you're known for your team's GPA and you're known for their values, but after an incident like this happens, that all goes down the drain. So arguments for hazing in a positive way could be team building, traditions, and then creating bonds and forming vulnerabilities. So pretty much hazing can be seen in the positive spotlight if it's all safe activity, there's no actual assault or harm or anybody's feelings being hurt. So that would be a team building activity. It kind of boosts morale on the team, and I guess I don't see anything wrong with that, but that is one argument for the positive of hazing. And then tradition. A lot of people have hazing traditions that they do every year, no matter who's on the team or who's coming into the team. But those are all things that are counteracted to my argument. And last but not least, I have 2 questions for you guys. So the first question is, do you think there's a difference between hazing and bullying? If so, explain. And then the second question, if your team wanted to haze new players or their rookies, how would you turn it into a positive team building experience instead of a negative? unsafe activity. So just what are your thoughts? And thank you for your time. Here are my references, and have a great week.